Happy Easter, everyone. You know, in Eastern Christian tradition, there's a depiction of the resurrection that's known as the Christ's triumphant descent into Hades. It's well known, even famous. And it's that time actually between the Good Friday and Easter Sunday. It's actually the in-between time of Holy Saturday. And it goes during that time when Christ goes down into Hades. Now, it's not, what we think of hell, when we think of when we do the Apostles' Creed, when we say Christ descended into hell, it's not when we think of the hell that we know of today. It's that abyss, that place in the belly of the earth where all of the dead were taken. That bondage where all, even the redeemed, were taken. And we're waiting for Christ's salvific act so that they could be redeemed. Even the righteous were waiting for Christ. And so this depiction in this icon, and I have one of my own, shows Christ going down and not hesitating to bust open the gates of Hades. And he's standing over those broken gates. And those gates now are formed into a cross, and he's standing on those gates. And that deep, dark abyss underneath then has these images of like open locks and broken chains and keys and hinges and nails and all those things that you would think of bondage. And again, it reminds us of that scripture passage that not even the gates of hell will prevail against it. And underneath that, there is this person that sometimes is referred to mistakenly as Satan or one of the fallen angels, and that's wrong. It is the personification of Hades. It's the personification of death himself. And this person now, this personification of death, now is in bondage. This is the turnaround, where those who were placed in Hades and were held in bondage, now he is in bondage. He has this thick rope that starts from the neck. The rope is tied around his neck, and then it goes down, and it's tied around his waist, and his hands are then bound behind him, and his wrists are held bound, and it goes down, and it's held around his knees, and then goes down, and it's held down and binds his ankles as well. And so not only is he held bound, but he's immobilized. So death now is immobilized by Christ's salvific act. But the focus is Christ, right in the middle, with this mandala, the light that shines around him, that same light in his transfiguration. And what he's doing is he's pulling these two people out of their respective coffins. Their lids are blown open, and he's pulling these two people out, this man and this woman, and it's Adam and Eve. They represent humanity. And he's not just kindly and gently escorting them out of their coffins. He's yanking them out. He's pulling them out. They're being thrust out. And in doing that, you can see the expression of their face. Their faces are confused and fearful. There's anxiety on their faces. They don't know what's happening. And it's coming so quickly. And you can see the contortion in Christ's body, how he's just pulling them out, yanking them out from the clutches of death. But the focus I want us to think about, if you look at this depiction, you can go online and see this, is Christ is holding on not to their hands, but to their wrists. He's holding on to their wrists and pulling them out. Now, what is the iconographer, the ancient iconographer thinking theologically when Christ is holding on to the wrist? You know, for myself, I think back to my time when I was in the Navy. And when I was on ship, we had to get qualified on numerous things. And one of those things that we had to get qualified for was water survival and water rescue. And part of water rescue was man overboard training. And I remember our instructor, one of the things that he told us is that when you're pulling a person in, don't take them by the hand. They're wet from the ocean sea, and that causes hands to be slippery. Use a sailor's grip. And what he meant by that is not by the hand, but by the wrist. Hold on to the wrist if you can, so that they can hold on to your wrist. And that connection causes more of a bond, less slippage, and there's more success for a rescue. I never forgot that. More success for a rescue. Hold on to the wrist. That's what the iconographer, the ancient artist, is thinking. When Christ is taking on the wrists of Adam and Eve, holding on to the wrists of humanity. It's a rescue. All throughout Scripture, we have these many genres, but one of the most consistent genres, consistent themes in Scripture, is the rescue theme. Noah, God rescues the animals and his people through Noah and his family. God rescues his people through Abraham and his descendants. God rescues Moses and the Israelites going through the desert and coming to the promised land. Rescues his people. And all of these and many others besides. But they point to and culminate to the greatest rescue in Christ himself. Christ himself was rescued from death by God the Father. But Jesus' own passion, death, and resurrection was the great rescue of humanity. Christ rescues us. Christ comes from on high and plunges down on this earth to rescue us. To rescue us from sin. To save us from darkness. To grab a hold of our wrists and yank us from the jaws of death itself so that we can have eternal life. That's why we celebrate Easter. The greatest rescue story ever told. Seems to me very appropriate that we need to hear a rescue story today in this time of plight. Christ rescues us, not just today, but from death itself. That's why we celebrate Easter. That's why Easter is the most important celebration, the most important feast in the Christian calendar. So let us give thanks. Let us truly celebrate